Hello and welcome back to the Coaster Experience with me, Adam Webb. Hope you're all well. If you remember my last video, I did my top 10 best roller coasters I've ridden so far. So I thought today, why not do my top 20 bucket list coasters. Now what I'm going to do for this video, I'm going to split this up into two parts. This is obviously part 1 where I'll be counting down from number 20 all the way down to number 11. And then in the coming days I'll bring you part 2 where I'll be going from 10 down to 1. If you do enjoy this video, please make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It will be very helpful indeed. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Kicking things off at number 20, we have Phantom's Revenge. This is at Kennywood. Originally built in 1991 by Arrow Dynamics, but was actually renovated by Morgan in 2001. This is located at Kennywood. Has a height of 160 feet and a drop of 228 feet. And what is interesting about this ride is normally on most roller coasters, the first drop is the biggest drop. However, on this 228 foot drop actually comes sort of about a quarter of the way through the ride duration. So it's quite a nice surprise if you're not expected to be there. It has a top speed of 85 miles an hour and apparently has some fantastic airtime, so what I've heard. And apparently as well is one of the best roller coasters by Arrow / Morgan out there. At number 19, we have Mystic Timbers. This is a 2017 GCI wooden coaster located at Kings Island. Has a height of 109 feet and a drop of 98 feet. And this is probably a misrepresented roller coaster when it first came out, because they advertised it as having the shed, the famous shed. And a lot of people before this roller coaster came out thought the shed was going to be like a secret, element, like an inversion or a drop track in there. But it turned out just to be a themed brake run basically. So a lot of people are kind of confused by that. So I think it gets a lot of hate because of that. But however, I still think this looks like a fantastic coaster. GCI wooden coasters are pretty much always good. I don't think I've ridden a bad one yet so far. So yeah, I would love to get down to Kings Island and try this one out. Coming in at number 18, we have Taron at Phantasialand. This is an Intamin double launch coaster. It launches you up to speeds of 72 miles an hour. And what really makes this ride so iconic, and why it's on my list in particular, is the theming that goes with this roller coaster. It's absolutely incredible to look at. It's a work of art. Probably the heaviest themed coaster there is in the world. It's sort of themed to this medieval style town, and the roller coaster is literally embedded right into that, which makes for some fantastic near miss elements, great moments of airtime. And there's even like a waterfall that located in this structure. From what I've heard, is absolutely fantastic, and it just had to be on this list. Coming in at number 17, we have Magnum XL 200. This is located at Cedar Point, Arrow Dynamics roller coaster, and this was actually a world record roller coaster when it opened in 1989. Was the tallest roller coaster in the world at the time at 205 foot and a drop of 194 feet, and reached speeds of 72 miles an hour. Now, if anyone's been to Blackpool Pleasure Beach in England, you will know, or you may not know, that this is the roller coaster that actually inspired the big one at Blackpool. However, I'm not really a massive fan of the big one at Blackpool. I find it quite boring, very jerky, very uncomfortable. But from what I've heard, Magnum XL is everything I probably want the big one to be. Fast, probably still a little bit rough, but a lot smoother than the big one, so I've heard, and has an insane amount of airtime, especially right at the back. After the turnaround, you just do airtime hill after airtime hill after airtime hill all the way back into the station, and everyone just says that is one of the best moments of airtime on any roller coaster ever. So yeah, definitely Magnum XL 200 had to be on this list. Coming in at number 16, we have Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. This is a B&M hyper coaster, has a drop of 200 feet and reaches speeds of 73 miles an hour. Now, I've only ridden one B&M hyper, as you've seen from my last video, my top 10 coasters, and that's Shambhala at PortAventura. And what I love about that is the amount of airtime you get from it, the floater airtime. And Mako looks like, although it's smaller than Shambhala, looks like it delivers the same sort of airtime that you find on Shambhala. It has the same clamshell restraints, which I really like, really allow a lot of movement. And what I really like about this coaster and why it's in my list, I like the way it interacts with the water. It's built over like a lake, and especially towards the end has a bit where it sort of swoops down like a bank turn, and you really have a real good interaction with the water there. And it goes along with the Mako shark theme, surrounded by water. I think it's a really fantastic location for the ride. And yeah, B&Ms, you can't really go wrong with a B&M Hyper. They're smooth, comfortable, and a lot of fun. Coming in at number 15, we have Intimidator 305 at King's Dominion. This is an Intamin Giga coaster and has the height, as you can probably tell by the name, a height of 305 feet with a drop of 300 feet, reaching speeds of 90 miles an hour. Now what's quite funny about this roller coaster is when it originally opened back in 2010, they actually had to reprofile the first turn, which comes directly after the 300-foot drop. And this was due to the fact that it was just far too intense. People were blacking out on a regular basis, and King's Dominion had to come to the decision to get it reprofiled. Even after its reprofiling, apparently it's still very intense, and people still tend to black out sometimes, or grey out at least. So that's fantastic. So I definitely would love to experience that first original turn. And for that, this coaster has built up the reputation of being the most intense roller coaster in the world. Some people love it for that reason, some people hate it for that reason. For me, I think it's a very interesting coaster. I definitely want to see what all the hype is about. So coming in at number 14, we have Expedition G-Force. This is located at Holiday Park in Germany. It's an Intamin mega coaster, has a height of 174 feet and a drop of 164 feet, and reaches speeds of 74 miles an hour. And from what I've heard about this ride, this is one of probably the most underrated roller coasters in the world, apparently. So many people say this is what they wanted Millennium Force to be, with the forces, the airtime. Apparently the first drop, it's like a curved first drop, apparently it's fantastic, and it's definitely got to be on this list. I've heard nothing but good reviews about it. So yeah, that's Expedition G-Force at Holiday World in Germany at number 14. Coming in at number 13 is Untamed at Walibi Holland. This is an RMC roller coaster, a height of 119 feet, a drop of 116 feet. Features 5 inversions and has a speed of 57 miles an hour. And I was sort of debating whether or not to put this a bit higher on my list, but when I was looking back through the list I had written down, there were so many other RMCs that would just go ahead of this, so I thought this had to be back a little bit. But nonetheless, I've heard again, this is a brand new roller coaster, opened in 2019. And from what I've heard, it's probably one of the best RMCs out there at the moment, even though it's brand new. But everyone says how great it is. The airtime's meant to be fantastic, good first drop, super smooth as well, which RMCs tend to be. And yeah, it looks like a fantastic ride. Coming in at number 12, we have Cobhead Strike at Carowinds. This is the Mack Rides double launch coaster, has a height of 82 feet, and it launches you up to the speed of 50 miles an hour. Again, like other Mack rides, this isn't the most intense ride, it isn't super fast, snappy launches. It's all about the airtime and the great hang time, which it seems to have a lot. Especially the first loop you actually do after the first launch really hangs you up there nice and slow. And the theming for this looks fantastic as well. A lot of Cedar Fair parks don't tend to be themed that well, but this definitely is. It's a brand new ride for 2019. It does seem like with the Cedar Fair parks with their newer rides, they tend to be going down a more theming route. But the whole layout of this, and it looks fantastic. And after riding Icon at Blackpool and Helix at Liseberg, I'm a big fan of these Mack rides. So I really can't wait to get on this one. Coming in at number 11, we have the Voyage at Holiday World. This is a Gravity Group wooden coaster, has a height of 159 feet, a drop of 154 feet, and a speed of 67 miles an hour. And what's special about this ride in particular is actually the second longest wooden roller coaster in the world, after of course the Beast, with a total track length of 6,442 feet. And apparently this layout is one of the best layouts there is out there for any coaster, purely because of the length, the speed of it, all the airtime, the transitions. It just looks like a fantastic ride. It really takes you on a real long adventure. Definitely get your money's worth for this, especially if you've got a long queue for it. You know, a nice long ride, you really feel like it was worth the wait. It looks fantastic, and I definitely want to get out of the Holiday World to try out this coaster. So that is it for part 1 of my top 20 bucket list coaster countdown, where I've taken you from number 20 down to number 11. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this video so you don't miss out on part 2, where I'll be going from number 10 down to number 1. Thanks very much again for watching. See you next time.